Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the May meeting of the Social Equity Council and its members and the public. I'd like to thank you all for attending today. We continue to strive to do the work toward reinvestment in those communities and residents that have been vastly impacted by the war on drugs. And at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is 10:03, and would like to call the attendance. So we'll start off with Corey Betts,
Present.
Avery Gaddis,
Here.
Savera Gordon, Michael Jefferson,
Present.
Julianne Avalon.
Present.
There you go.
Sorry.
Kevin Walton. Ed Shirley,
Present.
Kelly Marie Villeres. I did see you here. Was Kelly, is she out and back in?
She logged out. She's going to log back in.
Okay, check her in. Sabira Gordon. Sabira, you're on mute. Oh, Jawad Naeem. Mark Pelka.
Here, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Just before I can change, Sabira Gordon. I see you. I do not hear you, and I just wanted to confirm that you are here. Okay, well, let's continue and move on for the approval of the April 4th meeting minutes. May I have a motion to approve and accept the April 4th meeting minutes?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second, Corey.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries and the minutes have been approved and accepted. At this,
Just so you know, both Councilwoman Valeris and Councilwoman Gordon, as you can see, are on the screen. I don't know if that you need their attendance.
yes, so let's go back to Councilwoman Valeris. As far as attendance,
It looks like she's having trouble.
Oh, she's back in.
back in.
She's getting back
Okay.
in.
okay, let me wait a minute and see if we can. Councilwoman Gordon, can we have your attendance?
Present.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, can you please also call Council Member Comer or Alvarez?
Oh, yes. Councilmember Andrea Comer or Kevin Alvarez?
They're both absent. So
Oh, absent.
For the
Okay.
record.
Great,
Thank
for the record. Thank you, Attorney Retriever. All right, so as I said, have we counted for all the all in favors, opposed, and abstentions?
yes, that's fine.
Fine, great. Then the motion carries and the minutes have been approved and accepted. So at this time, we'll enter into executive session to discuss pending litigation. May I have a motion to move to executive session?
So move.
Second,
Second, Corey.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. We'll see you in executive session at this time. We'll enter into executive session to discuss pending litigation. And members have received a Teams link for the executive session. So members have the option of leaving this Zoom meeting and logging back in on or after executive session, or muting this Zoom meeting and opening the links for Teams. For members of the public, we'll return shortly, and we thank you for your patience. We've returned now from executive session. I'd like to once again take attendance to ensure that we have a quorum. We'll start off with Kevin Alvarez.
Here.
Corey Betts,
Present.
Avery Gaddis,
Welcome, Kevin. Here.
Savera Gordon,
Here.
Michael Jefferson,
Here.
Ojala Naeem, Mark Pelka,
Present.
Julianne Avalon,
Here.
Kevin Walton, Edwin Shirley,
Present.
Kelly Marie Valeris,
Present.
Melvin Medina. And myself, Paula Robertson, present, of course, and we'll now move to voting on equity joint ventures, recommendation for approval. May I hear a motion to approve 2 equity joint applications for number ACRE 0015672 submitted respectively by BUDR Butter Holding 5 LLC and AMHF 008266 submitted by Sweet Spot Stanford LLC.
So move.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. The 2 EJVs have been approved, and now we will move on to recommendations for denial. May I hear a motion to deny the equity joint venture application number AMHF 00086667 submitted by Sweet Spot West Hartford LLC in accordance with section 21A-420D K.
So move.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sorry, any opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Let's see. We'll now move on to workforce development plans and recommendations for approval. May I hear a motion to approve the workforce development plans submitted respectively by Nutmeg Killingly JV LLC, Nutmeg Willington JV LLC. Okay, a motion for that.
So move.
Seconded,
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries and the 2 workforce plans have been approved. We'll now move on to the vote on the social equity plan. May I hear a motion to approve 4 social equity plans submitted by Butter Holding, BUDR Holding LLC, Connecticut Social Equity LLC, SFC CT LLC, and Nutmeg Delivery LLC.
So move.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And abstentions? The motion carries. The 4 social equity plans have been approved, and now we will move on to the executive director's report. Executive Director Clay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to May. Next slide, please, Jim. So my report will contain consist of a staffing update, program updates, legislative updates, and the goals for the month of May. So we're continuing to work with the Department of Administrative Services to identify finalists for the positions that you see on the screen. This is a rather long process as we have to review each and every resume that is submitted to determine who has the skills we are looking for and who we would like to interview as finalists for the position. So this is an ongoing process. The number 1 priority position that I am looking to hire is to fill the administrative assistant position. We've been without an administrative assistant since early January. So for our program updates, the Connecticut, the Accelerator program will be hosting the Connecticut Social Equity Operator, Regulator, and Council Roundtable Lunch and Learn on May 20th. Members of the council have received an invitation to attend this event, which will be an opportunity for members of the council to speak with the Connecticut cannabis supply chain and learn more about their businesses and what they're doing and how things are going. In addition, the Cannabis Business Revolving Loan Fund, we are still in a holding pattern right now, waiting on some final approvals. As you all know, cannabis is not legal on a federal level, so any kind of banking relationships have to, have their I's dotted and their T's crossed. And we're working with the Attorney General's office and the Treasurer's office to make sure that all that is done and that we are not in violation and/or putting anyone in any type of jeopardy. Under community reinvestment, that has been really our hot topic during the month of April and will continue to be our priority in the months to come. We are working on and have identified third-party grant-making partners in the New Haven, Waterbury, Bridgeport, and Stamford area. And what that means is that we will look to go into contract with a third-party grant maker to identify local reinvestment opportunities that the council can reinvest in. And so right now we are looking to invest in youth programs and programs around reentry. So we'll be having more information and an update on those partners and those grant making opportunities when all contracts and all final discussions have been had. In addition, in our reinvestment area, we are working on having community conversations. It is very important to the council that we hear from the public, we hear from those folks who have been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs and how their communities have been affected. And so we will be commencing community conversations very shortly. We did put out an RFQ to again have local third-party trusted messengers carry out these conversations with the council on the local level. We extended the deadline to May 12th at 3 o'clock. In addition, we've added 2 technical assistance webinars for any organizations that would like to be considered as a trusted messenger to the council for local conversations. And those webinars will be held on May 9th, one at 12 and one at 4 p.m. to help with anyone's submission of a response to the RFQ. And all information on the reinvestment can be found on the Social Equity Council website. Just in our legislative session, the 2023 legislative session, we continue to provide the council with updates on a weekly basis. Staff continues to monitor legislative activity, and we are responsive to legislation that may disrupt, unfair and unequitable opportunities around the adult use cannabis for social equity approved applicants. And we also are meeting with legislative committees and leadership to ensure that they have an understanding of the work of the council. And excuse me for the typo that's in there. Our May goals, again, we will continue our review of social equity plans, which are looking pretty good. The ones that the council has approved are very good plans, and they do have impact, or slated to have impact in the communities where these companies are located. We appreciate their effort in giving back to the community. Our community conversation contracts, as I mentioned, will be going into further our desire to hear from the public using third-party trusted messengers. Again, we'll do our grant making contracts and continue to monitor the legislative session and have budget conversations, candidate interviews. And again, the number one priority for positions to fill is the administrative assistant, which is desperately needed here at the Office of the Social Equity Council. And that is my report. I welcome any questions.
Any questions? With that, thank you, Director Clay. And now let's move to our committee reports. From the Finance Committee, Kevin Alvarez, would you have a report in lieu of Councilwoman Comer?
Unfortunately, I do not have that report. I was not originally supposed to be joining this meeting, and so I apologize that I do not have that information for this week, but I'm happy to follow up to make sure folks get any information that we have afterwards.
Great, thank you so much. And we will loop back with Councilwoman Comer. From the Governance Committee, Ojala Naeem, is I thought was going to try to pop in and join us. So let's move on to the Reinvestment Committee. Councilman Gaddis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Wednesday, the Reinvestment Committee met and we voted to move forward for recommendations for entities representing a couple of geographical areas as far as it relates to the reinvestment dollars. And those are $1 million for Waterbury, $1 million for New Haven, $1 million for Bridgeport, and $1 million for the Stamford area. There was some spirited discussion. We did not feel comfortable with expending the whole $6 million today because there are certain pockets of Connecticut that are untouched by these funds currently. So we wanted a little bit of time to see if we could find an entity in like the New London area to help out with that situation. So the recommendation to the full council is for these 4 entities. If there's no objections, I would like to take the vote up as a block vote instead of individually, in the interest of time. We could go individually if you like.
Councilwoman Gordon, you have your hand raised.
I think I have to abstain for one of them, so I think we have to do it individually, Councilman Gaddis. I apologize.
Sure, no problem. Let's go through them. At this time, I would recommend to the full council that we provide $1 million for community reinvestment in Waterbury to Neighborhood Housing Services of Waterbury. I just want to say that none of this is final until the appropriate personnel and authorities like the AG's office and a couple of other folks sign off on these agreements. So this is just to continue the process and to move the ball forward, but by no means is this the final act. So $1 million for Waterbury, for Neighborhood Housing Services of Waterbury. I entertain a motion, or through you, Mr. Chairman, that motion's on the table.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
The next reinvestment.
Oh,
Avery,
Can we-
hold on.
Hold on.
We didn't go through the no's and the
Yes, I was gonna say,
abstention.
yeah, I was
Sorry.
gonna say, can we, Attorney Matrevi, can you give me a count, or can we do that as a roll count in terms of the ayes so far?
Mr. Chair, just so we are able to keep appropriate track of the vote, can you ask the individual members to call the roll so that we can take count? It's kind of going really fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say this, just to keep track of everything. So let's go through for the roll call, and then we are speaking in terms of the move for $1 million community reinvestment in Waterbury. So, Councilman Avalon, do you have a comment before moving forward?
no.
Okay, thank you. So to do it by roll, Corey Betts,
Yes.
Avery Gaddis,
I abstain.
Sabera Gordon,
Abstain.
Michael Jefferson,
Yes.
Ojala Naeem absent, Mark Palka,
Yes.
Julianne Avalon,
Yes.
Kevin Walton absent.
I think he's present.
Oh, he is present. Kevin Walton,
Is not present, Chairperson Robertson.
I was gonna say, I don't see him. Councilman Shirley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valeris,
Yes.
and Melvin Medina absent, and I will abstain. I think that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mr. Chairman, I was also
Yes.
going to abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who did I miss? Kevin
Kevin
Alvarez? Apologies. Attorney Matrevi, could you help me with the count here? I'm going. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 yeses and 1, 2, 3, 4 abstaining. It looks, let me just count this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We-
6.
Chairperson Robertson, we have
Yes.
4 voting yea and 4 abstaining on our presence. So
I was double checking.
actually,
I
3
have,
abstaining, 4 voting yea, Mr. Chair, is passed.
hang on, what's that? I'm just double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 voting yes and 1, 2, 3, 4 abstaining. So I believe the motion does carry.
It passed.
Passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Through you,
At
Mr. Chair, may I have 1 second,
Yes.
Chairman Gaddis, I believe Mr. Walton is trying to get in, if someone could assist him in that effort.
hang on. Jennifer, can you check and see if you can let him in?
Mr. Chairman, let's move forward. while
Yeah,
we
I was
wait
gonna
for
say, I don't
Mr.
see him, I don't see him on
Walton.
my, let us, Councilman Gaddis, can you continue?
Sure. At this time, the reinvest, we would also like to move forward $1 million for community reinvestment in New Haven to the Prosperity Foundation. That's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in
Yes.
favor? Oh, discussion, Councilman Shirley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question about actually the slate. I know that these entities are located in these areas. Will they be limited to those particular areas in terms of making grants?
To you, Mr. Chairman, the answer is no. These entities have tentacles that stretch beyond their borders.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other further discussion? All right, so shall we move forward? All in favor? And
Aye.
we do the-
Aye.
I was gonna say, it perhaps might be easier to do it through roll call. Let's go through it again for, this is for New Haven. Kevin Alvarez,
Jane?
abstain.
Yes.
Corey Betts,
Yes.
yes. Avery Gaddis,
Absolutely.
Sabera Gordon,
Yes.
Michael Jefferson,
Abstain.
Ojala Naeem absent, Mark Pelka,
Yes.
Paulo Robertson, I have to abstain for a conflict. Julianne Avalon,
Yes.
Kevin Walton.
Yes.
Kevin's here. Thank you, Kevin. Councilman Shirley,
Yes.
Councilman Valeras,
Yes.
and Councilman Medina is absent. So by count, I have 1, 2, 3 abstentions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yays. It looks like it carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, on behalf of the Reinvestment Committee, I move $1 million for community reinvestment in Bridgeport to the United Way of Coastal Fairfield County, Mr. Chairman.
I second that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so by roll call, all in favor, by roll call, shall we go through again? Andrew, Kevin Alvarez,
Jane?
abstain. Corey Betts,
Yes.
Avery Gaddis,
Yes.
Sabera Gordon,
Yes.
Michael Jefferson,
Yes.
Ojala Naeem absent, Mark Pelka,
Yes.
Paulo Robertson, yes. Julian Avalon,
Yes.
yes. Kevin Walton,
Yes.
Ed Shirley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Valeras,
Yes.
Melvin Medina absence, and it looks like that carries with just 2 abstentions. Or one,
Thank you, Mr.
one abstention. It carries. Thank you, Councilman Gaddis. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And finally, I move that we give $1 million to the community in Stanford, to the United Way of Western Connecticut. There's a lot of United Ways, everybody. That is my motion, Mr. Chairman.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor by roll call. Kevin Alvarez,
Jane?
abstain. Corey Betts,
Yes.
Avery Gaddis,
Yes.
Sabera Gordon,
Yes.
Michael Jefferson,
Yes.
Mark Pelka,
Yes.
Paulo Robertson, yes. Julian Avalon,
Yes.
Kevin Walton,
Yes.
Ed Shirley,
Yes.
Kelly Marie Valeras,
Yes.
and Melvin Medina absent. So it looks like overwhelmingly with one abstention, the motion carries for Stanford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is all the business I have for our committee unless there's other questions.
Any further questions? Thank you, Councilman Gaddis, for
Thank you.
managing the fourfold across the board. As we continue with the committees and the reports, let's now move to the Outreach Committee, if we could, with Councilwoman Gordon.
Yes. Hi, good morning, everyone. So the Outreach Committee has interviewed and had conversations with a few providers in DIAs to hold community conversations. I want to, start this conversation by asking for the blessing of this council to continue to interview more candidates. Because right now I'm only going to be able to put forward two RFQs that have come in for community conversations in DIAs. And if I can get a consensus from this council to continue to interview and move forward with the process, and possibly hold a special council meeting to be able to approve the final community conversation applicants before the next meeting, I would really appreciate that. I don't want to slow the process down, but I know we have constraints of the fiscal year, and I'd love to have some of these happen before our next meeting in June. And we have extended the process out to May 12th. So if we could schedule a follow-up meeting quickly right after May 12th to be able to vote on the final community conversation RFQs, I would really appreciate that from this council. I don't know if we have to have a formal vote on that, Mr. Chairman, but I just want to ask for the grace of this council for us to continue to interview and locate and be able to identify individuals in the DIAs.
I will defer to Attorney Matrivi. Does that require a motion?
Through you, Chairperson Robertson, this does not require a motion this moment.
So I guess I can just see if anyone has any issues, you could just let me know. If that it doesn't seem like a big deal to anyone. Councilman Jefferson, you had your hand up.
Through the chair.
Councilman Jefferson.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I think Councilwoman Gordon is absolutely correct. It's a small ask. I have no problem with accommodating your request for the record.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna go through and vote on two RFQs that have come in to hosting community conversations. I will start with Waterbury Bridge to Success that's located in Waterbury. They are a cross-sector partnership committed to dismantling the policies and practices and beliefs that have historically disenfranchised all stakeholders, with the intent to co-create sustainable, equitable systems that support BIPOC youth, families, and communities from cradle to career. They presented a wonderful application. We had a great interview process, and we would like to move forward to allow Waterbury Bridge Success to host community conversations in Waterbury and possibly additional and Torrington as well, so we can ensure that we're having these conversations. They really presented a wonderful application. I think they showed us, based on everything that they provided, that they would be able to manage the community conversation, and on top of that is be able to get the information back to us for what the community said, which we think is a really important part of this process. I'm going to vote on these, and we're going to do these individually once again, because I think we might have a couple abstentions from this one. So through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to have a motion to approve Waterbury Bridge to Success to host community conversations in the Waterbury area.
Is there a second?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I need to abstain. I just need to abstain from this one. So.
Abstain as well.
Okay, so that's. Any other abstaining? I guess it would be so moved then.
All right, thank you. Next, we're gonna vote on an RFQ from Next Level Empowerment Program out of New Haven to host community conversations in New Haven. They're a grassroots nonprofit organization that has the capacity to sponsor, host, and organize community-wide conversations. It's run by someone who's been justice impacted, and they also presented a great application and proved to the outreach committee that it will be possible for them to host the community conversations in the time that we have allocated. So I would like to have a motion through the chair to approve Next Level Empowerment to host community conversations in New Haven.
Sure.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It looks like an overwhelming aye. It's so moved.
All right. Thank you. I think we'll continue to have these. It would be great if our council members who live in these DIAs are able to attend these events. We have committed that we would try to make this a partnership. So we're not just asking these nonprofits or these community entities to do this work. We want to make sure that we're doing it together and we're a part of the community conversations. And I think I'm so excited that this is happening. This has been a long time coming, and now we're finally going to be able to get out to the community and hear how they would like to see these funds reinvested. I think we know through anecdotally what some of these things are going to be, but I think having that fully pulled back to us and given to us in a way that we can digest it will just be really, really great moving forward as we continue to reinvest in these communities.
Councilwoman Gordon, I hate
Yeah.
to interrupt, but in putting motion forward, I neglected to add the abstentions or any opposed. So at this time, if you don't mind the interruption, are there
Sure.
any abstentions at this time? Or any opposed? Thank you, Councilman Gordon. Please continue.
All right, nope, I was wrapping up and saying, if anyone had if there was any questions about this process, we're happy to answer them. If anyone had, the one thing I would say, if you know of an organization that is in a DIA that could host community conversations, we would really welcome that information. The timeline's really tight, so a lot of people have not applied, but because there is an extension, we'd love to hear from others who are interested. Councilman Shirley?
Actually, I was going to ask if you would, at this point, still be accepting
Yes.
names. So, absolutely. Okay. I think I have a couple I'd like to submit.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Any other discussions, comments, questions? Thank you, Councilwoman Gordon. We look forward to participating and activating that bill. Comment from Executive Director Clay.
Yes, I just wanted to say that anyone who is interested can find all of this information on the Social Equity Council website.
Great. Thank you, Executive Director Clay. Again, thank you again, Councilwoman Gordon. And shall we now move to our policy committee with Councilman Shirley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did not have a meeting. Our meeting was postponed. And the only other thing I would add is it sounds as if our regularly scheduled meeting for the 18th will be moved up to another date, an earlier date. And Mr. Chair, I guess you and I will discuss how to move that forward and to select a date that is convenient for committee members as well as for the full council.
I thank you for that, Councilman Shirley. We look forward to. Any other comments, questions, or discussions? Thank you again, Councilman Shirley. Can we now move to Councilwoman Valeris with the Workforce Development Committee?
The Workforce Development Committee did not meet last month, and we do not have anything to report on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Valeris. And I know that you are extremely busy, though there's no report. I know there's a tremendous amount of work going on. Moving forward for the good of the order, is there any new business updates or information that anyone would like to pose at this time? Well, hearing that overwhelming silence, I'd say let's move to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second, Corey Betts.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 That carries. Thank you all very much for the time. Thank you, the public, for participating. And as I said, we continue the fight in all the efforts that our council members and just Team Connecticut in general. We really appreciate your patience. This isn't a perfect process, but we're working toward getting it right. So thank you again. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.